Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dan Warner. Today we're going to be talking about 5 mistakes that actors make when submitting their auditions on tape. Some of these may sound like common sense and they may seem simple, but actors are still making them because casting directors are still complaining about these 5 mistakes that actors are making. So we're going to get right to it. We're going to start with number 1. The first mistake that actors are making is they're not labeling their videos. They shoot their video on tape, they have it on their phone, they either send it from their phone or transfer it to their computer and then send it. But what they're not doing is they're not labeling the file on the video. So what that means, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a second, what that means is you've got to label the file, because if you just send it in, it's going to be labeled, MP40387.mov. And it's just a bunch of letters and numbers. And if they have a bunch of those and no one's name is on them, they don't know who's who. They don't know you by your face. You have to label your videos. You have to put your name on your videos. If you don't, they might get lost and you might lose a job because you were either too lazy to label them or you didn't know how. So I'm going to show you how. It's very, very simple. You will be double clicking on the file number, and I'm going to show you this in a second. Not a quick double click, just a click, click, and then it will highlight. You type in your name, and then it'll have your name and then .mov. Click anywhere outside that, and then your file is labeled, and the casting director will know who you are. Here's an example of how to do that. Okay, all you do is you click on the file number and then you click it again. So you double click it. Don't click it fast and you'll see it highlight like this. Once it highlights, all you do is you type your name in and then you click anywhere outside of it and then it's done. See, now it's got my name, danwarner.jpg, but yours will be your name .mov or whatever the video file number is. So it's very simple. You click again, and then it highlights like that. Once it highlights, you type in your name and any other information, and then click outside of it, and it will save. That's how you do that. Okay, so fairly simple. Double click, not fast, slow, click, click. It'll highlight, type your name in, and then it'll automatically have .mov or .mp4, whatever the extension is. Click outside that, then you have your name. Make sure your name is on it. If it doesn't work or your name's not on it, do it again. You can rename your file as many times as you want, but make sure your name is on your file so that the casting director knows who you are. That's mistake number 1. Okay, moving on to mistake number 2. This one is baffling to me that actors are still doing this. You use your phone. This is horizontal. This is how you should film your auditions. Not vertical like this. Horizontal. Horizontal's right. Vertical is wrong. Always film your auditions horizontal. Never, ever, ever film them vertically. Actors are still doing this. They're still just filming their audition and don't do it vertically. They'll just throw it out and all your hard work will be for naught. Film them horizontally, do not film them vertically. That's mistake number 2. It seems simple, but actors are still doing this. Please don't do that. You may miss out on a job. Okay, mistake number 3 is the casting directors have been complaining that the actors are too stagnant in their auditions. You've got the blank wall behind you or a sheet or a piece of paper or whatever you're using, and the actors are just sort of doing their audition with their reader, or sometimes not. That's another mistake. We'll get to that in a second. And they're not using the frame of they're not using the whole frame. So they're just sort of there and doing their audition. One of the problems with auditioning at home and auditioning on tape is you don't have a casting director there, or even a session runner, who's the person behind the camera, helping you, guiding you, giving you notes. So you don't really have any feedback from anyone. You're just doing your audition on tape and sending it in. Whereas if you had a casting director there, or even a session runner, they're going to give you notes. They're going to tell you, you can shift a little. If you're sitting down, you can shift a little in your seat. The key to this is, and this has been my sort of mantra from the very beginning, is be a real person in a real place, having a real experience. So whatever your scenario is for your audition, just put yourself in that position. If it's ordering food at a fast food restaurant, how do you do that? How do you really do that? And do it like you'd really do it. And so you're not going to just sit there and say, I'll have number 2. You would look at the menu and you'd look it over, and if the counter person is talking to you, you would talk to the counter person. People look around. People they move. They use their whole frame. Just be a real person in a real place, having a real experience. Try not to be so stagnant in your auditions, because this looks horrible, whereas this looks a little better and a little more real. Just be a real person in a real place, having a real experience, and use your frame. Don't be stagnant. Don't sit still. Mistake number 4 is, believe it or not, actors are not using a reader. If you've got dialogue with another person and you're just reading your lines, it's not going to translate and it's not going to sound good. And the casting directors are just going to delete your tape. You need a reader. You need someone to read opposite you. So there's this new thing out. You've probably never heard of it. It's called Zoom, and it's free. You can Zoom with an actor friend or anyone that you know might be a good reader, and you can go over the script and over it and over it, and you can do it 10 or 15 or 20 times until you get it down. But use a good reader, an actor preferably, a seasoned actor preferably. But if you don't have access to one of those, if you don't know anyone, go on Instagram, go on an acting page on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on an acting page on Facebook. Find other actors, meet other actors, call other actors, text them, message them. Use an actor who's good at reading so your read is good. Now, when you Zoom with them, make sure that your computer is not so close to your phone that the reader overpowers your voice. You want your voice to be a little louder than the reader's voice. You want to be able to hear the reader, but you don't want them overpowering your voice. And so you may have to move the laptop away a little bit, or your computer away, or move the camera around. But figure it out. Play it back. If you don't like it, if it doesn't sound right, delete it. Do it again. Just do it, and don't do it until you get it right. Do it until you can't get it wrong. Now, I've said that before. It's just one of my favorite sayings. But think outside the box. Get a good reader. Use a reader. And then Zoom with them. FaceTime with them. Rehearse with them. You can do this as many times as you want. And if it doesn't work, if you don't like it, hit the delete button and do it until you like it. And send in the perfect take. Because that's what other actors are doing. They're sending in the perfect take. Because unlike auditioning in the room, you can do this over and over and over again. That is the clear advantage of sending in auditions on tape from your house. You can do it as many times as you want until you get it right. So use a reader, use a good reader, do it, play it back. When you get it perfect, label your video and send it in, filming horizontally like that. Okay, mistake number 5. Actors are sending in way too many takes. You don't need to send in 4 or 5 or 6 takes. Now, if the casting director specifically asks you to send in more than 1 take, to send in 2 takes or 3 takes, do that. But if they don't ask you to send in more than 2 takes, do not send in 2, 3, 4, 5 takes. They don't want to see they don't have time to watch all of your videos. If every actor sent in 5 takes and 40 actors are submitting for this particular role, they don't have time for that. Send in your best take. If they ask for more, send in more, but don't send in a bunch. Send in 1, label it, send it in. Just be respectful of the casting director and just pay attention to what's going on and be professional. Send in 1 take, send in your best take. You can do it over and over, like I said, so send in your best one. It's as simple as that. Look, I hope this video helped you. If you're making any one of these mistakes, just correct it and move forward. If you're making all of these mistakes, then correct all of them. If you're not making any of these mistakes, good for you. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button down below. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead, see if I care. Subscribe, because I'm going to be coming to you every week and offering tips and tutorials on acting and on-camera confidence and giving helpful sort of tidbits to help you book a job in 2021. If you've got any questions or comments about anything I've talked about, leave them in the comments section down below, and we will see you next time on Dan Warner Media. Thanks for watching, and go practice in front of the camera, for God's sakes, horizontally, and label your video.